How many lovers have you made today? Chapter 8, Part 4.
Hi, Sweetie Belle. Is Rodian by any chance?
The smile she had slowly faded.
She's in her room. She doesn't come out often, but I could tell her you're here. Please. And
Pinky pulls out a box of cupcakes and hoofs it over to Sweetie Belle.
for you. I know it's been a while.
That quickly puts the smile back on her face.
Thank you. I'll go tell her right now.
Taking the box, Sweetie Belle runs up the stairs and out of sight. Pinky takes this time to step inside and examine the room. Despite the dire sense of the situation, the house is immaculate. Whether that is the effort of Sweetie Belle or rarity is unknown, but at least the place isn't in a state of decay.
Hello, Pinky.
Startled, Pinky whips around and comes face to face with something she wasn't expecting. It's Rarity, just Rarity. She looks perfectly fine. Her coat is pristine as ever. Her mane is styled as he usually is. No dark bags or crow's feet under her eyes. It's as if nothing changed. But something is wrong with her. The smile she's giving is fake, and the way she holds herself is reminiscent of the very ponekins she's placed clothes on, rigid and unmoving. An emotion Pinky has seen many times before. Rarity uses a hoof to toss her curl behind her back. But what's disturbing is how mechanical and unnatural it looked.
Hey, Rarity. Been busy these past few months, huh?
Pinky can't shake the sense of unease with the mockery of a pony standing in front of her.
Thought I'd come by and check up on you. No need to check up on me, darling. I'm perfectly fine. Speaking of busy, I have a few orders I need to attend to. Sorry to cut this visit so short. I'm sure you understand.
All Pinky can muster is a slow nod at the creepy situation she finds herself in.
Sorry, I should have called first or come by earlier. Perhaps another time we could chat.
Rarity hasn't moved, and her expression hasn't changed the entire time she's been talking.
This is disturbing. Another time.
Pinky is losing track of what she wants to say.
You know the way out. Good evening.
Rarity turns around and walks up the stairs, leaving Pinky alone in the living room.
She's always like that.
Pinky jumps at the voice coming from below her and finds Sweetie Belle there.
I don't know what's wrong, but she's been working on those orders for months now. Well, you know Rarity, it's gotta be perfect.
Pinky gives her best smile just for Sweetie Belle.
When she's done, she'll finally get to relax.
Sweetie smiles too.
Yeah, you're right. She'll be better when she's done working.
Pinky feels her smile crack at the seams. She can't leave Sweetie Belle alone here. It's as if something terrible would happen if she didn't at least offer an open door for her.
I gotta go now, but if you need anything, then don't hesitate to come to Aunt Pinky, alright?
Pinky leans down to face Sweetie Belle proper.
I live at Anon's house now. Do you know where that is?
Sweetie's ears pinned back.
Rarity always told me to stay away from there. It's fine. I live there now.
Pinky says.
In fact, how would you girls like to try baking as a way of getting your cutie marks tomorrow? Really?
Sweetie Belle looks excited by the idea.
Sure! I'll tell Apple Bloom and Scoodle at school tomorrow. Alright. I better get going now. Good night, sweetie. Good night, Pinky.
Pinky walks out of Rarity's home, giving a small wave to Sweetie Belle, as she returns it briefly before closing the door. Pinky stands there for a moment just facing the door, the last of the warm light giving way to the soft, bluish hue of the night.
This is a lot worse than I imagined.
Pinky says to herself before setting off back to her home. She'll talk to AJ tomorrow and see if she knows about Rarity's current mental state, as well as Rainbow's whereabouts. Pain. That's all Nightmare feels. No matter how much time passes, the wounds never heal. Gritting her teeth, Nightmare leers off into the void. That damn mare severed her connection to this world and in turn, left Nightmare isolated. This means there's no magic for her to heal herself, so the wounds she suffered that day remain unchanged as she lays on the floor in perpetual agony. If it weren't for her splitting headache, she'd rest until the connection was made. Though something else is calling to her. It was a whisper at first, but now it's slowly becoming a shout. With a groan, she rests her head and tries to ignore the call. Still, it's difficult to overlook a disturbance that's trying to shape her world from the outside. What could be producing that much negative emotion? It matters little to her. It's not like she can leave this place to investigate. Coughing a few times, she tries her best to rest. But that's when she feels it. Her eyes snap open as something materializes into her world. She could sense a great deal of negative energy coming from something further into her dream world. This has never happened before, so she forces herself onto her hooves and limps away towards the source. Off in the distance, she spots a door leading to a dream. It only takes a few hooves for her to recognize the door from afar. It's Anon's. The difference is the mass amount of dark fog that billows from it. Something about this causes Nightmare's thoughts to drift to an old memory. This type of nightmare? She's experienced it once before. Curious, she continues to approach. But with each step, she takes notice of a particular weight lifting from her. The various bandages around her body start melting away as her wounds rapidly heal. The nightmare is so potent that she can feel her body surge with power. Her mane starts flowing with a lustrous sheen, the stars twinkling with newfound life. Her already black fur is absorbing whatever little light there is as her fangs grow slightly longer and sharper. She hasn't felt this powerful in ages. The elements took everything from her, but now she feels fit enough to take over the dreamscape if she wishes. However, her mind is focused on the door before her. What could that creature be dreaming to cause this much negative emotion? As she lifts her hoof, she stops a few inches short. Does she want to touch it? The last time she felt his nightmare, it wasn't what she was expecting it to be. This must indeed be something else. However brief that thought was, she connects her hoof to his door. Nightmare tears her hoof away as she grits her teeth. Her entire body is trembling in pain, and she wants nothing more than to scream out in agony, but she's made sure to prepare herself this time around, and was able to shield her psyche from the brunt of the trauma. But still, that was enough to fill her with rage. Without a single word, she tears his door open and leaps inside. She lands into a place of darkness, not unlike her void. She whips around, looking for where he could be. In her anger, she smashes a single hoof to the floor, causing the darkness to peel away as it drifts up slightly, before being absorbed by her fur. Eating this nightmare makes her sick, but that matters a little to her. She needs to find that creature and teach him a lesson. Still, there's too much darkness for her to see him outright, so she closes her eyes for a moment of irritation and thinks of him. It's faint, but as she opens her eyes, a thin thread of light connects her to him. A single spell that could help her considerably. It doesn't take her long to follow the trail to the huddled form of Anon. A cloud of darkness billows from him as he lays there. That spark of anger returns to her for being forced to come here.
That wench is so pathetic that she can't even be bothered to attend to her stallion's nightmares. Hey! Do you think I want this annoyance right next door?
He doesn't respond, so she takes a few steps towards him.
Are you ignoring me?
It's too fast for Nightmare to register until it's already happened. Anon is clutching to her right now, his face buried in her fur. It takes a moment for Nightmare to get her mind straight as she sits on her hind end and tries to pry Anon off.
What in Equestria are you doing? Let go!
She warns as he keeps a death grip on her. He still doesn't respond.
I said let go!
She casts a spell to pry him off, but finds little resistance to pull him away.
What's going on?
As she correctly faces Anon, she's disturbed by what she sees. Where his face should be is nothing, but an empty hole. This isn't what she expected to find. He falls back to the floor in a gesture of what she can only guess is pain. Despite her emotions from before, she finds herself worried. He's starting to lose his identity, that much she knows. As she watches him rock back and forth in place, she feels that weight on her chest. Not a single sound is leaving him, and yet blackness seeps from him endlessly. A thought enters her mind. She could use him, right here and right now. That amount of power he's exuding could allow her to take over Luna, Equestria even. But she can't. Nightmare screams as she slams her hooves into the darkness below in a fit of rage.
Why? Why can't I do it? I can leave, be free from the void!
She turns her anger to Anon.
Answer me!
He doesn't respond or even acknowledge her. Not that she expected as much. Another primal scream leaves Nightmare as she grits her teeth and thinks over this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. She cannot allow a faint sense of duty to pass up what she's been given. However, she feels something on her hoof. Looking down, she finds the faceless being wrapping a bandage around her hoof. The darkness still billows from him. She can practically hear his screams, and yet he's tending to her. Nightmare is starting to hyperventilate as she clenches her jaw so much that she feels a tooth chip. Even in a sorry state, he's caring for others. She feels sick to her stomach. As he works on her, she can feel how he gently applies the bandage, making sure not to nudge any injury he may think she has, but also keeping it snug. She hates creatures like him. He reminds her of Luna when she was a filly, during that night when she took her first life. That memory brings back so many things. A time that has long since turned to bile. As angry as she felt, all of that lifts away as she crouches low to face the creature before her. As if reliving a memory, she rests a hoof on his hand to stop him from bandaging her. The pitiful thing before her just faces her with that gaping hole.
There, little one. Why am I doing this? This is nothing more than a terrible dream. I can finally be free. All will be better when the moon lights the way. My one chance. Go. Let not the pain of this day haunt your world. All for what? For I am here. A memory? And I will protect you.
With that last word leaving her lips, she rests her horn against his forehead and casts her spell. All the darkness from the dream rapidly flows into the empty hole of the faceless being. Heavily dazed, Anon sways in place, utterly oblivious to his surroundings. Nightmare quickly fades into smoke before he can notice. "Where am I?" he asks himself. "I talked to Bonbon, stayed at the shop to bake a cake, decided to stay that night." He rubs his eyes. "Am I asleep?" He shakily stands and examines the area. "Guess I am." Nightmare watches as Anon covers his mouth, but it does little to help as he vomits on the floor. He pants for a moment, trying to regain his composure. "You should go before Luna gets here. I can sense her coming." Did he also notice Nightmare's presence? Unlikely, but perhaps his intuition is stronger than she anticipated. "Thanks again for helping me. I'll be chatting with you soon, but for now, I have something I need to take care of." Nightmare scoffs.
So you say.
With that, she shifts her smoke form to the door she came through, and quickly enters it back into her void. Turning to look back, the door slowly melts away into a fine mist. But despite it being gone, Nightmare can still feel a connection to Anon's world. She snorts in anger as she lays on the floor. She'll never live down what she just did. A moment of weakness for a memory that's long since turned to waste.
Pointless.
She rests her head on the floor.
It's all pointless.
Oh, the classic obliviousness to liking him. Especially when it's aggressively driven away. Oh. Anywho, let's get on to our crafty donators. Top donators are 630, BadassWaffle, Onlyonething, Ceru, Orion, IronSky, and Jessie Smith. Magic 19, Jock TF, Darkside Raiden, Norris, Blick, Moonar, Pastels, Guys, Austin Rollins, Stuhex, Sword Brother, Mordred, Omicron, Light, Ruben, Side 9852, Will, Chris, Twinkie, Rice, Shadowman, Luigi 88, Chancer Crust, Big Smoke 369, Bobcat GGF, Murder Princess, and many more amazing people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.